Yeah, and we back, man, and we got a special guest with us that is participating in the block party here at the Clayton Member Hotel. My man Pines from Adult Entertainment. Dude, I'm glad you decided to sit down with us, man. But more importantly, man, we want to talk about what does this event mean to you, and why are you here to support?
It's black recognition. You know what I mean?
Just bring the mic.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's perfect.
My apologies.
No, you're good.
It's black recognition on a massive scale. You know what I mean? We obviously are in one of our shortest months in which they try to cram our acknowledgement in. So for us to kind of have an opportunity with people like Jocelyn to facilitate spaces in which black creators from different avenues and different mediums of art and different aspects of artistry in general, being able to collect us or get us all in one room and speak of our experiences as we did last night, speak of our progression, our plights, and what we're trying to get to, and all of our goals as yet again as we did last night, and then following that up with the marketplace and being able to show tangible evidence of that same experience is pretty awesome. And then being around so many of our peers, beautiful black and brown people, just kind of, you know.
Yeah, you can step in. Do you need to? See, this is how we do, but like this is what the market is.
It's live, man. With money's being made.
Money's being made. You can't stop the money, Cole.
Can't stop the money.
You gotta keep that going, man.
Did Doughboy stop? Did the Doughboy stop when the sale happened? No. Nino.
No, Nino didn't stop, man.
He didn't stop.
Kept going.
Did Scarface stop?
Nah, kept going, man.
Did Jay-Z stop?
You need people like me.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
So just real quick, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about your brand, man, and how it started.
I personally started back in 2015 in this realm. I was doing creative direction for a brand out in New York, in which I initially got the internship for, and then when I left New York, they were trying to offer me the job, but the money comparative to like the living expenses in New York just was kind of basically breaking even.
Right.
So I just took all the experience I had out there and brought it back to my people out here in my network. And I wanted something that aligned with my character, my integrity, my morals, my values, but that wasn't my name. You know what I mean? And initially when I developed the brand, it was my name. It was self-titled. It was called Pines. And we dropped 2 collections of that when they both sold out, and that kind of showed me that I could do this shit. And to be honest, like, the designs sucked. Like, the designs were ass, and we sold 75 items in one night. And that kind of, like I said, just kind of showed me, all right, bet I could do this shit, especially if I apply myself and actually make the shit that I actually would wear.
Yep, right.
Not just some shit that niggas would buy. And that was the biggest thing. So at that time, I ended up taking another creative direction job at Vice Gallery and at Gibberish, 2 brands out here, or 2 local brands out here.
Yep.
Well, they're Utah-centric, but kind of has local ties. But I was the only black dude in the company.
Oh, wow.
Basically steering the ship of a white entity.
So how long were you there?
At Vice and Gibberish, about almost going on 2 years, about a year.
Oh, so you're still there?
No.
Oh, okay. So you were there for 2 years. Got it.
It was
My bad.
Leading up to about you good. It was leading up to about 2 years, and I didn't have ownership. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing. A lot of the things I wanted to do that I eventually would do in my own shop, I wasn't able to do there. Playing music, certain type of music, outside the doors, not just in the shit, bringing people in. Just really, being 10 toes and unapologetic about who you are. And I've always been that person as myself, and then I've always had friends that had kind of like shedded a little bit more skin when they're in my presence.
Yep.
But trying to make that like a theme.
Just a lifestyle,
thing,
right?
For sure. And regardless on who you're around, regardless on the niggas, like, you don't got to be around 5 motherfuckers to like feel like yourself.
That's a fact.
And to boldly be that, especially in the face of white people, because that's typically when the homies tend to kind of straighten up a little bit more. Like, people kind of try to soften their tone or whatever, and I just don't believe in that. I genuinely believe coming as you are, how you present yourself has nothing to do with the content of your heart.
That's a fact.
And how
I
you
like
can
that.
articulate yourself. And I get high every day. I can still tell you about my purpose. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm not unique in that facet.
Is that what your brand is about?
Nah, ultimately, not necessarily no specifics, but it is about being who you are unapologetically,
Right.
and knowing that you have support for that, and that you're not alone in that plight. And a big thing for me in particular being, I'm an eccentric nigga that when I step in the rooms, I try to make a statement, and so with that also doesn't always bring the most positive shit or the most positive outlook on who you may be without getting
Got it.
So with that, a big part of the brand, obviously the name of the brand is Adult Ent. If you don't know who we are, you don't know what we stand for. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you just go strictly off of face value, just like with anything else, you'll lose out on the blessing. So that was kind of the biggest thing. It's like put it in their face, let people kind of address their own filth, but on the internal, when you actually get a chance to speak with us, you understand that we are undoubtedly on the forefront, prioritizing our black and brown people, making sure that they feel identified in spaces that typically they're not being marketed, or they're being marketed to but not marketed for.
That is so dope, man. Can I give you a round
Marketed
of applause
to,
for
not
that?
marketed
All
for.
love, bro.
Absolutely.
I personally always feel that, just because I've always had a different style. So it's you, and I'm sure we've all have experienced being in places in which we are tolerated,
Right.
but not accepted per se,
Yep.
and not necessarily welcome, not necessarily the space made for us and made for us to feel comfortable. It's just like, yeah, you can come in, but don't touch shit.
You know what? And it's great that you say that, because a long time ago, or not a long time ago, but let's say 3 years ago or so, it was like always diversity, right? And to your point, it's like, yes, you're allowed to come in the door and you're tolerated, right? But it's the inclusion of like, yo, I'm bringing my culture with me.
Yep.
We're gonna celebrate these things. I'm unapologetically me.
Right.
Like those. That's what breaks down the doors,
That's a
right?
fact.
It's
That's
like,
a
no,
fact.
it's not just accepting us. It's like, it's not just tolerating us.
Yeah.
It's accepting us for who we are and what I bring. And that's why I
Regardless.
love the things that you're saying is like, you're human. Like everything you just explained to me is being a human, right? Like I'm being me. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, but I'm being authentic to myself, and I'm gonna bring myself into the door. And sometimes I might be off my game, but at the core, I'm still a good person, and I'm human at that.
Yeah, and based on the fact when you sat there and said, like, look, people have certain preconceived notions of me because I'm black. So when I walk in the room and I'm more eccentric than you may assume, I mean, like, they have a certain assumption.
Real shit.
I bring this eccentric side to me, but you're pretty much going to accept it regardless.
No matter
No matter what. Because then when you start to speak and articulate yourself, yo, I'm not this. This is just.
See, and that's a big thing for me, because I got homies who are felons. I got homies who run plays. I got homies who are scholars who graduated Harvard. It's across the board.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but the first thing you're gonna see when we step in the room is that we black men.
Yep.
Like no matter what, you're not gonna see my morals. You're not gonna see my
Nothing.
accolades. You're not gonna see my character. You're not gonna see my daughter. You ain't gonna see none of that shit.
Nothing.
You're gonna see me as a black man first. So I'm gonna stand in that first, and then I'll bring you into the rest of the shit.
Yep.
But when
Right.
you see me, I'm gonna stand in my light.
And dude, you're just dropping gems, man, and I love it. And it's just like, dude, so that's what our podcast is all about. Like, just what you just summed up in that little skit. It was like, I got homies that did some wild shit. I got homies that are at Harvard and, and thriving and stuff like that. And that's where everything fits, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what I think, to your point, is like, when we walk in the room, we black. We ain't got to tell you that. You can look at it and we wear it and we proud of it. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I might be getting on a tangent though, but what I hate sometimes is like, you seem like a guy that doesn't want to be put in a box, is what I'm trying to say, right? So when you walk in the room, we know what Pines is. Like, you can see him and see eccentric, swag, style, whatever you want to call it. But don't put me in the box, because I know some things and I just get this wide spectrum of knowledge or whatever. Like, I'm all over the place.
Legit.
That's what's up, man.
So man, I know.
I'm loving this one.
Hey,
I'm loving
and
this
it's so
one.
you know what? It's so hard. It's so hard to let you go. You know what I'm saying? But we know money's being made here. But I think, two things. What do you want? How do you want people to ultimately feel when they wear your clothing? We kind of talked about it. And then plug your stuff, man.
Bless. The feel thing is a feeling of family. It's a feeling of inclusion, and not even on some like corny, cliche shit. But like, one of our top sellers is our hats, for instance, and we call them our director's caps. It's called Adult Ent, kind of playing words. Too many times do we get hit up about, or when people come to the store, write us some DMs about how they ran into somebody else that was wearing a hat, and they struck up a conversation, and like homie was like, cool, because that's the biggest thing. Is I want the brand to stand as a badge of like, that's a solid motherfucker. You know, like I can strike something up with them, and I know where they stand at. With this brand, I undoubtedly, no questions asked, I draw the line in the sand. You know what I mean? Like I am that. Like I don't stand for the fuck shit, and I'm just because you're a patron doesn't mean that I'm willing to rock with the nonsense. You know what I mean? Like and ideally, and thus far it's kind of proven to be true, but the people who have aligned themselves with the brand, whether by event, coming to the events or purchasing a garment, they're on that same shit. They're on that same type of time. You know, we are here to make sure everybody's space is respected, everybody's time is respected and valued, everybody's plight is respected and valued, from black, brown, white, making sure that we are highlighting the fact that sex work is real work, and that black and brown sex workers have it pretty difficult, and they need people, specifically people that look like them, to speak up on their behalf when they're not in the room. You know what I mean? When they're absent of being able to advocate for themselves.
That's just man.
And that's something I just wholeheartedly try to stand on.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Now let's plug.
So my personal IG is @HurtPines. Same on Twitter. For the brand, it is adult.ent on IG, adultent_ on Twitter. Our website is adultent.club. Not .com, adultent.club.
That's sweet.
Yeah, bro, I wanted .com.
That's tough to get.
I didn't see it. Yeah,
Nah, man, but that's unique though.
The .club is nice.
That's dope.
It's so people don't really, when they see it, they see the .club, they assume .com. They'll take it to some old.
They think you front. They think you front. They think you front.
Yeah,
.club.
for sure.
.club.
You type in those first couple letters, you don't know what's coming up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta really see it through. You know.
Right on, man. Well, we know you busy, man, and you gotta get to it. It seems
man.
like it's getting crowded, but
Man, and thank you for stopping by.
stop.
Man.
Yeah,
I
taking some
appreciate
time.
you guys, both of you.
And then we want to get you outside of this, like
yeah,
to
for
come
sure,
to the
for sure.
podcast official.
That's a
All right,
call.
man.
That's a easy.
For sure.
For
All right,
sure.
man.
I appreciate y'all.